राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। जीवने मरणे गति जीवने मरणे गति हर नाही मोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। कालिंदीर फूले केली कादंबेर वाना। कालिंदीर फूले केली कादंबेर वाना। रतन बेदीरा वसाबो दुजना। रतन बेदीरा वसाबो दुजना। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। श्याम गौरी अंगे दीपो चंदनेर गंधा। श्याम गौरी अंगे दीपो चंदनेर गंधा। चामर ढुलाबो कबे घेरी मुख चंदा। चामर ढुलाबो कबे घेरी मुख चंद्रा। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। गाठिया माला ती माला दिबो हर गले। गाठिया माला ती माला दिबो हर गले। अधरे तुलिया दिबो कर्पूर कंपूले। अधरे तुलिया दिबो कर्पूर कंपूले। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर। ललिता विशाखादि जट सखी वृंदा। ललिता विशाखादि जट सखी वृंदा। अज्ञाय कोरीबो सेवा शरणारविंदा। अज्ञाय कोरीबो सेवा चरणारविंदा। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासरानुदास श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासरानुदास सेवाभिलाषा करे नरोत्तम दास सेवाभिलाषा करे नरोत्तम दास राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर जीवने मरणे गति और नहीं जीवने मरणे गति और नहीं राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा जुगल किशोर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि जय राधा श्याम सुंदर जय राधा दामोदर जय राधा माधव जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन जय सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान सीता राम लक्ष्मण जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki
जय
जय
ki jai.
जय
Jai Gaur Premanand.
प्रेमानंदे
हरे हरे हरे
हरि
Jai Jai.
जय श्री राधे श्याम।
श्याम।
सभी पत्थर भक्तों की जय जयकार हो।
बहुत सुंदर। आप 2-4 बार आप ये करेंगे ना तो हमें लर्न हो जाएगा थोड़ा थोड़ा।
हाँ, sure. Let's do that. Let's do that. We should start singing all Vaishnava bhajans so that we learn the Vaishnava bhajans. Mahane, this is a beautiful bhajan by Narottam Das Thakur. He has poured his heart out. You should always hear it with the translations. Then you get his heart. So welcome everyone. Requesting all to switch on their cameras. Anuradha, Preeti, Reshma, Bharti. And let's see your pretty faces. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vatanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Devi Govinda Swami Niti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatari Koti Vaishnavi Jai Namacharya Shai Pasta. So today we're going to finish chapter 5. And we will quickly finish chapter 6 also, because that's also a very small chapter. We did up to verse 25, right? Yes, YG, have you marked?
Yes, I have till 25 actually.
All right, so verse number 26. I'm not going to revise because after this, we're going to take a test. So automatically you will have to revise all the 29 verses. Okay? So verse number 26. So we have 26, 27, 28, and 29. That's it, only 4 verses. Yes.
Kama krodha vimuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future.
Okay. So, of the saintly persons who are constantly engaged in striving towards salvation, one who is in Krishna consciousness is the best of all. हमने previous verses में different types of yoga देखे थे, अष्टांग योग, ध्यान योग, कर्म योग, देख चुके हैं. But in this verse, Krishna has given his own verdict. In sabhi mein se sabse best kya hai? Krishna consciousness is the best, which is bhakti. In the Bhagavatam, it's a fact. Fourth canto, 22nd chapter, 39th verse. Yat pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya karmashayam gratitham udgrathyanti shantah tadvan na rikta matayo yatayo apiruddhah shroto ganas tam aranam bhaj vasudeva. Just try to worship in devotional service Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of the senses as effectively as those who are engaged in transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, uprooting the deep-grown desire for fruitive activities. This verse actually, Prabhupada's books finally answered my questions that I used to have as a child. कि इतने बड़े बड़े ऋषि मुनि, विश्वामित्र को मेनका ने फंसा लिया, इतने बड़े बड़े ऋषि मुनि ऑलरेडी इतने एडवांस थे, योगी थे, वो कैसे फंस जाते थे? उनको गुस्सा कैसे आ जाता था? वो श्राप कैसे दे देते थे? Our stories are full of these, no? इस ब्राह्मण ने, इस ऋषि ने उनको श्राप दे दिया, उस ऋषि ने काउंटर श्राप दे दिया. So I used to wonder if they are so advanced. How were they able to do this? उनको गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा है? और विश्वामित्र मुनि मेनका के जंगल में कैसे आ गए? Only by sound, बिना देखे, just by hearing her ankle bends. You know, he got infatuated with the girl, and his thousands of years of tapasya got destroyed. You know, he settled down with her like a common household. And ऐसे बहुत सारे Shabri Muni, we have so many examples, you know. Rishi Muni is falling down. Here, Prabhupada finally solves that mystery for all of us. Because all these yogis were doing Ashtanga Yoga. They were not doing Bhakti Yoga. And therefore, even after thousands of years of practicing Ashtanga Yoga, you can still fall down. Because in Ashtanga Yoga, you are not necessarily a devotee of Vasudeva, Vasudeva Krishna. Therefore, Shroto Ganas Tam Aranam Bhaja Vasudeva. So, even great sages are not able to control the forces of their senses. Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh, Mad, Matsarya cannot be controlled as effectively as those who are engaged in the transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of Vasudeva, uprooting the deep-grown desire. So simply by serving the feet of Vasudevam, you can easily achieve even what the great sages cannot achieve by practicing Ashtanga Yoga for thousands of years of tapasya. Is that clear? So this verse really establishes the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga over all other types of yoga. In the conditioned soul, the desire to enjoy the fruitive results of work is so deep-rooted that it is very difficult even for the great sages to control such desire despite great endeavors. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो कोशिश नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो महारथी हैं, बहुत बड़ी कोशिश के बावजूद they are not able to. Hari Bol Anu, a devotee of the Lord.
Hari Bol.
Do you want to read this translation of 26?
Okay, sure. The purport? Okay. Of the saintly persons who are constantly engaged in striving towards salvation, one who is in Krishna consciousness is the best of all. Bhagavatam confirms this fact as follows. I'll read the English translation.
You come to the second para. We've already done it.
Okay. In the conditioned soul, the desire to enjoy the fruitive results of work is so deep-rooted that it is very difficult even for great sages to control such desires despite great endeavors. The devotee of the Lord, constantly engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness, perfect in self-realization, very quickly attains liberation in the Supreme. Owing to his complete knowledge in self realization, he always remains in trance. To cite an analogous example for this,
You can read.
Darshana, okay, by vision, by meditation, and by touch, only do the fish, the tortoise, and the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also, O
Padmaja.
Padmajal,
Oh, Padmaja.
O Padmaja, the fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. The tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. The eggs of the tortoise are laid on land, and tortoise meditates on the egg while in water. Similarly, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far away from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly, by engagement in Krishna consciousness. He does not feel the pangs of material miseries. The state of life is called Brahma Nirvana, or the absence of material miseries due to being constantly immersed in the Supreme.
So isn't this example a very, very powerful example to all those who have doubt कि कैसे भक्ति योगा रिजल्ट दे सकता है? हम यहाँ बैठे हैं, है ना, कृष्णा इतनी दूर बैठे हैं, सिर्फ उनका नाम जप करने से how can we get protection here? Or how can we get some results here? Or how can we overcome our desires? So just see, he's giving practical examples of this world. Did you know that fishes, when they produce eggs, वो पानी में अंडे देती है? तो जैसे ही egg निकलता है, it starts floating in the water. The fish does not have hands to hold that egg, isn't it? That egg just falls and goes and settles down into the bed. And how does the fish raise the child? Just by looking at it. वो बच्चे को कोई नरिशमेंट या किसी तरह से रेज नहीं कर सकती, अपने आप ही बच्चा सीखता है तैरना और अपने आप को बचाना. Fish is only looking at him and raising him. Similarly, tortoise तो देखता भी नहीं है, अंडे लैंड पे, खुद वो पानी में जाके बैठा है, और पानी में जब बैठा होता है तो he is just thinking about his eggs. I hope they are safe. I hope nobody has eaten them. And he keeps thinking about the eggs. By that alone, the eggs hatch. You can practically see these things happening. Of course, he puts them in a safe place. ऐसे नहीं कि खुले में छोड़ के आ जाता है, उसको बिल्कुल protected जगह पे छोड़ कर आता है. लेकिन this is how the tortoise raises its children. है ना? So fish by looking, और ये भागवतम में example दिया है. A tortoise by meditation, and the birds maintain their offspring. How? Birds also, I think, by similarly, do I also, oh Padmaja. And the birds maintain their offspring by vision, by meditation, and by touch. So the birds maintain their offspring by touch. By vision, the fish, by meditation, the tortoise, and by touch, the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, O Padmaja, O Krishna, I also do the same. And how? Simply by thinking of you while chanting your names. I am under your protection. I'm under your care. I'm under your guidance. Krishna can also do it, no? If an ordinary tortoise created by Krishna can do it, can Krishna not do it? If an ordinary fish created by Krishna can raise its offspring, like, can Krishna not do it? So let there be no doubt in the efficacy of this work, in the practical power of this chanting of the Mahamantra. We come directly under the care of Krishna, under the protection of Krishna. Yes, Sanjana.
Padmaja is another name for Arjun. Similarly, do
Yes.
I also? Oh, Padmaja.
Padmaja must be Krishna, no?
No, Krishna is saying, na, similarly, I also do. Oh, Arjun. Oh, Padmaja. ऐसा होगा ना? This sentence Krishna is speaking, na?
Similarly, do I also, Padmaja. Similarly, a devotee can elevate himself. I think a devotee is telling Krishna. Similarly, I also. I'm not sure. I'll check.
Okay.
मैंने इस पे ध्यान नहीं दिया. But we understood the gist, है ना?
Hmm.
जैसे लग रहा है कि वो devotee जो है, because ये जो verse है गीता का नहीं है. So it's not between Arjun and Krishna. ये भागवतम.
Okay.
So some devotee is saying this to Krishna के just as by vision, by meditation, and by the
नहीं.
Similarly,
As,
do I also? So that's
हाँ,
where I think the doubt
means,
is coming. So I also
हाँ,
maintain everybody that way, oh Padmaja.
हाँ.
Vanita, Hare Krishna.
अच्छा.
Padmaja is the one who's born out of lotus, yeah, born from lotus. So he's referring to goddess Lakshmi.
Okay.
Yeah.
ठीक है. Born out of. So Krishna is saying, correct. Krishna is saying to his devotee. है ना? यही हुआ ना? Yeah, thank you for telling me that.
So Padmaja किसी का name नहीं हुआ. It is another word for devotee.
नहीं, Padmaja means
No.
out of a lotus. Padma का जा. Padma is Krishna himself. और Padma से जो हुआ, जो
जना
Padma
हुआ. हाँ.
जना हुआ, correct. Is could be Lakshmi, could be any of his
Okay.
other devotees. So he's telling to them. Yeah, so he's saying it. Krishna is saying.
Okay.
है ना?
So this verse is actually from where? Is it from Bhagavatam or do we have? Because I don't think there is a reference anywhere from where this
Yeah,
verse.
for
It's
this
from Bhagavatam.
yeah, for this particular verse is not mentioned. Because Prabhupada was simultaneously reading 6 Shastra.
Okay.
He
Okay.
has quoted from different places, and not everywhere is it mentioned कि ये verse कहाँ से लिया है.
Okay. Okay.
But he has given this translation by simultaneously reading 6 or 7 commentaries of our Acharya. So you can imagine what a precious juice we have got in this Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is the juice of 6 or 7 scriptures written by our Acharyas. Of course, he has simplified it in such a nice way for us to understand those very, very complicated and hard to understand scriptures that he was referring. Okay? Right, 27 and 28.
Sparshan kritva bahirbayas chakshushu chaivan vantara tare bhruvoho pranapanau samau kritva na sabhyantara charinau yatendriyamano buddhir munir moksha parayanaha vigate cha payak krodho yasada mukta eva saha. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the 2 eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, the transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated.
So this is exactly how Ashtanga Yoga works. And let us see. how tough it is. Being engaged in Krishna consciousness. Anu, you want to read?
Yes. Being engaged in Krishna consciousness, one can immediately understand one's spiritual identity, and then one can understand the Supreme Lord by means of devotional service. When one is well situated in devotional service, one comes to the transcendental position, qualified to feel the presence of the Lord in the sphere of one's activity. This particular position is called liberation in the Supreme. After explaining the above principles of liberation in the Supreme, the Lord gives instruction to Arjun as to how one can come to that position by the practice of the mysticism or yoga known as Ashtanga Yoga, which is divisible into eightfold procedure called Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. In the sixth chapter, the subject of yoga is explicitly detailed, and at the end of the fifth, it is only primarily explained. One has to drive out the sense objects such as sound, touch, form, taste, and smell by pratyahara process in yoga, and then keep the vision of the eyes between the two eyebrows and concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed lids. There is no benefit in closing the eyes altogether because then there is every chance of falling asleep. So true. Nor is there benefit in opening the eyes completely because then there is the hazard of being attracted by the sense objects. The breathing movement is restrained within the nostrils by neutralizing the up moving and down moving air within the body. By practice of such yoga, one is able to gain control over the senses, refrain from outward sense objects, and thus prepare oneself for liberation in the Supreme.
आ गया समझ? आईज आधी बंद रखनी है, पूरी खोलोगे तो बाहर की दुनिया से फिर अट्रैक्ट हो जाओगे, बंद कर दोगे तो सो जाओगे. तो आधी खुली रखनी है मतलब सिर्फ नाक दिखेगा, ठीक है? इतनी खुली रहनी है. उसके बाद सांस लेनी बंद कर देनी है, मतलब ऊपर की सांस और नीचे की सांस जो है, इनहेलेशन और एक्सहेलेशन जो है, उसको बीच में रोक लेना है ताकि वो इक्विलिब्रियम में रहे, अंदर अंदर ही होल्ड हो जाए, है ना? आउट गोइंग एंड इनकमिंग तीनों एक जगह पे एक बैलेंस हो जाए ताकि आप यू कैन होल्ड योर ब्रेथ फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम बाय लॉन्ग प्रैक्टिस. एंड इससे पहले one has to drive out sound, touch, form, taste and smell by the pratyahar process in yoga. है ना? प्रत्याहार करने के बाद मतलब नियम मतलब डेली एक डिसिप्लिन्ड लाइफ जीना, फिर आसन प्राणायाम करना, फिर प्रत्याहार करना, फिर धारणा, फिर ध्यान और फिर समाधि. How many want to do this Ashtanga yoga? Then you will get liberated from this world.
Not me. No, it's so difficult.
Do you know anyone? Any advanced person? You all must be having someone in your family who is very advanced in spiritual life or who loves to do yoga and exercise. Anybody that you can think of who can do this? दूर दूर तक friends, extended family, relatives. Anyone who can do this? It is next. It's not impossible, but close to it. It's very difficult. Kalyug में impossible है मेरे हिसाब से. तो शास्त्र is not saying this. It is still possible. So एक तो ये तरीका है अष्टांग योगा. बाजार गर्म है, बाजार में योगा इसी के खेल पे बेचा जा रहा है. We can help you control your senses. You know, close your eyes and get mixed into the atmosphere and consciousness. This is the real yoga. You can imagine what they are teaching us outside. And this itself is so difficult. So, not a chance. Ashtanga yoga, not a chance. Next para padiyan.
This yoga process helps one become free from all kinds of fear and anger, and thus feel the presence of the supersoul in the transcendental situation. In other words, Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of executing yoga principles. This will be thoroughly explained in the next chapter. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always engaged in devotional service, does not risk losing his senses to some other engagement. This is a better way of controlling the senses than by Ashtanga Yoga.
Do you agree? Isn't it a relief? आप कर सकते हो bhakti yoga?
Yes.
The other option is Ashtanga yoga. जिसको chanting difficult लग रही है सुबह उठ के करना, please understand that your next option is this Ashtanga yoga. Okay, so now compare the two and please tell me which is easier. See, easy, easier, easiest. Tell me, Krishna consciousness comes in which? Easy, easier, easiest. किसमें आता है? हाँ अंजलि, you're muted.
इजिएस्ट आपको कह रहे हो तीसरा ऑप्शन, एक तो अष्टांग हुआ, दूसरा भक्ति योगा हुआ, तीसरा ऑप्शन कौन सा है?
Chanting.
नहीं नहीं.
Chanting.
I'm bhakti yoga only is chanting. अलग अलग.
हाँ,
I'm saying
Jnana.
Bhakti yoga is the
Bhakti.
easiest.
come on everyone, एक एक करके we know.
Yes. Bhakti yoga.
No,
Bhakti
that's not what I'm asking. Bhakti yoga
Chanting.
top किस column में डालोगे? Easy, easier, में डालोगे?
easier.
Chanting is easiest, but depends upon our sincerity, how much sincere we are.
Mhm.
So bhakti yoga means chanting or practicing Krishna consciousness. प्याज लहसुन नहीं खाना, चाय कॉफी नहीं पीना, 16 राउंड्स कर लेना, सुबह उठ जाना, रोज पढ़ना और सुन लेना. This is bhakti yoga. Okay? वैष्णव सेवा करना, फेस्टिवल्स में सेवा. This is bhakti yoga. Now tell me bhakti yoga is, and the other option is pranayam, dharana, samadhi. अपनी जान बचाने के लिए कौन सा ऑप्शन लोगे? Now tell me, compared to this, is chanting easy?
भक्ति योगा. हाँ, एक तो भक्ति योगा.
Vaiji?
Yeah, bhakti yoga.
My question is easy, easier or easiest?
Easiest, but easiest is also relative, right? Still not
Yes.
able to get there. So, of the three, I think of the three, chanting is definitely the easiest.
process ढूंढ के ले आओ. इससे easy ढूंढ के ले आओ, इससे easy process. See, you please need to understand that goal क्या है? Goal भी कोई छोटा मोटा थोड़ा ही है. Goal is you want relief from the cycle of birth and death. कोई ordinary चीज थोड़ी मांग रहे हैं हम. We are directly wanting to go back to Golok. Want a place in his kingdom. I mean, उसके लिए सुबह उठ के जाप भी नहीं करोगे तो फिर क्या करोगे? I mean, isn't it? This is not some fitness plan. कि चलो ये नहीं तो कुछ और कर लेंगे. Goal is not fitness, or goal is not just a peaceful life. Goal is relief from death. Is our goal. Actually, relief from death. मुझे मौत ना आए. सबको आनी है, दूसरों को आएगी, मुझे ना. This is our goal. उस गोल के लिए what is the simple solution being suggested? Chant. और वो भी 64 नहीं, प्रभुपाद ने काट दिया. 64 नहीं, 48 नहीं, 32 नहीं, 16. Can you imagine our condition? Can you imagine how degraded we are? Can you imagine how degraded we are? इसमें भी हम आनाकानी कर रहे हैं. So, what was the point? I was saying something. Yeah, anyways. So chanting the holy names is the easiest process in Kali Yuga. Bhakti Yoga, and Krishna himself is going towards that now. 5th chapter तक आके उन्होंने hint दे दिया. अब आगे देखना. He's already done Karma Yoga so far, right? Now he's going to do Dhyan Yoga, chapter 6. तीन योगास बताए कृष्णा ने भगवद गीता में. फर्स्ट कर्म योगा, ध्यान योगा,
Bhakti.
and then yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. In the end he tells Arjun, now you decide what you want. मैंने आपको तीनों फॉर्मूले दे दिए, आप देखो कौन सा करना है. ठीक है. So this is really it's a good deal. A very good deal. Okay, 29. Last.
मैं पढ़ूं.
I'm waiting for 13 or 29. The only one that I know by heart. It's okay, go ahead.
It was same here. Okay, let us go do it. Vaiji,
Okay.
let us
Okay.
do it
No,
together.
I thought you're talking about reading the translation, Anu.
No, I was talking
She
about
wanted to
reading the
chant the
sloka.
verse also. So I was telling her I was also waiting because the few things that I by hearted.
Okay, you start.
So we're gonna do
I'll
it.
follow you.
So we can do it
1
together.
minute. 1 minute.
Yeah, let's.
Sheetal raised her hand for something. What is it, Sheetal?
Same, I was saying I can read the sloka.
Okay,
Can we
Sheetal,
do it
let's do
together?
it all together.
You can read it.
Together?
Okay. Up,
It's okay, together.
Anuradha can read. Anu can read.
No,
Falling
Sheetal.
asleep, so we will give it to Anu.
No. Please, everyone read. No, Sheetal, you read.
Oh, this is a verse that all of us have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Anu, you said first, तो आप ही पढ़ लो. आज मैं next time पढ़ लूँगी, कोई बात.
चलो सब तीनों एक बार पढ़ लो, because this is a verse that we have.
Ha, okay,
Thank you.
fine. First
Yes.
of all, Vaiji will read, right? And then Sheetal, in the last, I will read.
How gracious.
Yeah.
Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shanti mrichati.
Translation.
Sheetal.
Okay, Sheetal.
I'll read. भोक्ताराम यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvalokamaheeshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantimruchati.
Okay. So, translation, Anu?
A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries.
This verse is so important that Prabhupada mentions this verse in his lectures repeatedly, and he calls this verse the peace formula. For the world, this is the peace formula. This verse is the peace formula. It is so important. अगर सारी दुनिया को एक ये verse ही समझ में आ जाए, तो we will never have a third world war. This is actually the peace formula. Prabhupada used to say कि ये कोई United Nations है जिसमें इतने सारे flags हैं और बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. and none of the flags are coming to an agreement with each other. The real United Nations is this Krishna consciousness movement. Everybody speaks the same language. मैंने अभी रिसेंटली एक वीडियो पोस्ट किया है अफ्रीका के एक किसी पहाड़ के ऊपर किसी गुफा के बाहर 3 अफ्रीकन्स बिल्कुल आदिवासी गौर निताय गौर निताय गौर निताय चैंट कर रहे हैं, डांस कर रहे हैं. दिस इज यूनाइटेड नेशंस. Whether there is an Adivasi in the jungles of Africa, or there is a New York ka businessman, or there is a Pakistan ki family, or there is Iran or Iraq, everybody is chanting God Nitai. They are all united in chanting the names of God Nitai. This is real United Nations, is it not? They are all belonging to different castes, different cultures, different religions, and they have not converted. This is not, Bhagavad Gita is not converting anyone. You can continue to practice your religion, but they are all united in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is United Nations. Prabhupada used to say, so if this book goes to even 25 or 30% of the people of the world, there will be world peace. If only 30% or 40% of the people of this world start practicing Krishna consciousness, there cannot be conflict. The evil forces or the terrorism forces will become weakened. So those who are chanting are actually doing a great Samaj Seva. Now you understand the importance of chanting? Only those people who are just sitting in their rooms and chanting. Prabhupada used to say that even if nobody is coming to hear you, तब भी आपके कमरा is full of कीटाणु. ऐसी कोई जगह नहीं है material world में जिसमें living beings ना हो. There are so many germs, insects, spiders, cockroaches, microbes, bacteria. They are hearing, and it's going to benefit them in the next life. So chanting loudly is the greatest welfare activity that you can do. Will you do it? Come to the scene now and chant with all your heart. If you want peace around you, if you want peace inside your house, you want peace outside your house, you want peace in the lives of yourself, in the lives of your children. Chanting is the most powerful way. Krishna is saying it. Okay. Anu.
The conditioned souls within the clutches of the illusory energy are all anxious to attain peace in the material world. But they do not know the formula for peace, which is explained in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. The greatest peace formula is simply this: Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. Men should offer everything to the transcendental service of the Lord, because he is the proprietor of all planets and the demigods thereon. No one is greater than he. He is the greater than the greatest of the demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is described as Tama Ishwaram Pranamam Maheshwaram. Under the spell of illusion, living entities are trying to be the lords of all they survey, but actually they are dominated by the material energy of the Lord. The Lord is the master of all material nature. The Lord is the master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under the stringent rules of material nature. Unless one understands these bare facts, it is not possible to achieve peace in the world, either individually or collectively. This is
either individually or collectively. You cannot achieve peace.
This is the sense of Krishna consciousness. The Lord Krishna is the supreme predominator, and all living entities, including the great demigods, are his subordinates. One can attain perfect peace only in complete Krishna consciousness. In the 5th chapter, This fifth chapter is a practical explanation of Krishna consciousness, generally known as Karma Yoga. The question of mental speculation as to how Karma Yoga can give liberation is answered herewith. To work in Krishna consciousness is to work with the complete knowledge of the Lord as the predominator. Such work is not different from the transcendental knowledge. Direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga is a path leading to Bhakti Yoga. Krishna consciousness means to work in full knowledge of one's relationship with the Supreme Absolute, and the perfection of this consciousness is full knowledge of Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A pure soul is the eternal servant of God as his fragmental part and parcel. He comes into contact with Maya, illusion, due to the desire to lord it over Maya. And that is the cause of his many that is the cause of his many sufferings. As long as he is in contact with matter, he has to execute work in terms of material necessities. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdiction of material world. The more one is advanced, the more he
आपने
is.
class वाली बीच में
छूट गया? Okay, I'll read it again. Krishna consciousness, however, brings one into spiritual life even while one is within the jurisdiction of matter. For it is an arousing of spiritual existence by practice in material world. The more one is advanced, the more he is freed from the clutches of matter. The Lord is not partial towards anyone. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect and conquer the influence of desire and anger. And one who stands fast in Krishna consciousness, controlling the above mentioned passions, remains factually in transcendental stage or Brahma Nirvana.
this
The
is
eightfold.
stop.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in just step by step what he's trying to say here. He's saying that देखो पहले हम सब गोलोक में थे, गोलोक या वैकुंठ में थे, वहां पे बाय डिफॉल्ट हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस ही ये थी कि तुम स्वामी मैं सेवक, करेक्ट? ये हमारी सबकी ये कॉन्शियसनेस ही थी, ठीक है? मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी। जैसे ही हमारे मन में ईर्ष्या आई, हमें यहाँ भेज दिया गया you want to become Swami, you don't want to be Sevak anymore. So here, मैंने एक temporary world create किया है, यहाँ पे आप स्वामी बन के enjoy कर लो अपने desires, ठीक है? So now उसके लिए we have to come in contact with Maya. जब तक हम माया के contact में नहीं आएंगे, तब तक हमारे अंदर ये भावना नहीं आएगी कि मैं स्वामी। माया हमें illusion में डाल देती है and we start getting the feeling that oh, I run this world, I am the Swami here, correct? लेकिन this Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga is so beautiful कि इस दुनिया में रहते हुए भी, माया के कांटेक्ट में रहते हुए भी, अगर आप कृष्ण का नाम जप करते रहेंगे, still your consciousness can still be that of Golok, even though you are in touch with Maya, directly in touch with Maya. Still you can have this consciousness, मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी. Even though you are interacting with Maya to satisfy all your desires, you can still maintain this consciousness simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It will help you not to get entangled in the clutches of Maya. This is the role of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, everybody in this world believes that they are the enjoyers of this world. This world is meant for their enjoyment. इसीलिए तो ये सब problems है ना, of greed, corruption, power, because they think this land is mine or this house is mine. I am the controller. I want to be the owner. I want to be the proprietor of this country or this city or this house or this land. But agar these people are in Krishna consciousness, they will come out of this mentality. So this is a very magical portion, this Mahamantra. जबकि माया के इन टच में आप ऐसी मेंटालिटी रख ही नहीं सकते. Maya puts you in illusion. Maya is like a drug. So any person who is drugged cannot take the right decision, no? Because he's intoxicated. Can you accept any good decision from a person who is in nasha? No. So Maya is a nasha, जिसका हम सब सेवन कर रहे हैं. So how can any good decision come out of this? However, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra helps you overpower this nasha. And you can still, while being in touch with Maya, while continuing to have this drug, this intoxication of Maya, you can still not allow it to act on your consciousness. You can still come back to your original consciousness that I am not the Swami here. I am a Sevak. And that will save you. That will save you from the clutches of Maya. This is what he's saying. The Lord is not partial towards anyone. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness. What is that practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness? What is the practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness? Sheetal?
Working as per the instructions of Bhagavad Gita.
But क्या है वो? Take some names. Practically क्या करना है?
Chanting.
Yes, yes, chanting. Yes, Bharti?
भोग लगाना.
Chanting, bhog lagana, jaldi सुबह ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में we have to wake up.
Vaishnav Seva.
Vaishnav Seva, okay.
Reading.
Reading.
And devotional service, matlab lectures dena, reading and
Diet,
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Swanam.
diet, also food. Prasad lena,
Pravan-
not eat anything
Prara-
and everything.
Pravanam,
Listening, yeah.
Vishnu
Vishnu
Smaranam.
Vishnu
Smarana.
Smaranam.
Fast sevam.
Dasanam.
Wonderful. 9
Many
minutes devotional service. Okay. I'm giving you a clue also.
ABCD.
ABCD.
अपनी इंद्रियों को वश में करना.
Oh, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Brahma Mohan, she actually mentioned it.
Brahma
Bharti
Mohan.
mentioned it.
Not bad.
4, 16, 4.
4, 16, 4.
Get up at 4.
Four regulative
4.
principles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. पहले अपना पतीला तो साफ करो. अगर उसमें दूध डालना है तो पतीला मैला होगा तो दूध डालते ही फट नहीं जाएगा. पतीला कैसे साफ होगा? मन का कैसे साफ होगा?
Regulative principles.
Come on.
No
Four
intoxication, no meat eating,
No
16 rounds, no
No,
gambling,
No meat.
No illicit sex.
no illicit relationships.
Which includes tea and coffee and chocolate and all kinds of rubbish that you drink.
मैं chocolate खाती हूँ अभी.
Use कर दो, कोई बात नहीं. Because it's an intoxicant. It's an intoxicant. There are carob. Carob is the counteract of a substitute for cocoa, which tastes just like chocolate. ISKCON में carob powder के chocolate cakes बनते हैं. Taste में कोई फर्क नहीं है. सिर्फ फर्क ये है कि उससे intoxication नहीं होती. Otherwise, chocolate is an intoxication. Chocolate भी intoxication में आता है. Chocolate तो चलो दूर की बात है. Tea तो छोड़ो. कप पे कप गटकते रहते हो. Okay, so no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex and no gambling. चलो illicit sex और gambling तो निकाल दो, Indian women के नहीं है. But meat eating and meat eating में eggs भी आता है and egg products भी आते हैं. You have to be careful when you go out. कि आप कौन सी noodles खा रहे हो?
No onion garlic.
No onion garlic. कुछ तो करो. इतनी बड़ी एक्सपेक्टेशन रख रहे हो गोलोक जाने की, कृष्णा आगे ले जाए, डेथ से इतनी बड़ी एक्सपेक्टेशन, उसके लिए ये भी नहीं, इतने से भी नहीं. एडजस्टमेंट. Got it? So what he's saying is everything depends on one's practical performance of duties. You understood now? What are your practical performances of duties in Krishna consciousness, which helps one control the senses in every respect? This will help you control your senses, your anger, your desire, and conquer the influence of desire. Oh, there you are. Conquer the influence of desire and anger. एंगर मैनेजमेंट एंड डिजायर मैनेजमेंट अगर करनी है तो ये 4 रेगुलेटिव प्रिंसिपल्स अनिवार्य हैं, नॉन नेगोशिएबल हैं, कंपलसरी हैं, कोई इफ्स एंड बट्स नहीं चलेगा। इट्स द बेयर बेसिक मिनिमम। व्यापार तेरी शत में डोर बेटा कंप्लीटली। पार्थ, thank you. And one who stands fast in Krishna consciousness. What's that? क्या मतलब? One who stands fast in Krishna consciousness.
firm.
हाँ, जो डगमगाता नहीं है, जो करता है। Stands fast मतलब जो ये चीजें करता है। Controlling the above mentioned passions remains factually in the Brahma Nirvana. वो इस दुनिया में रहते हुए भी हो चुका, लोगों हो चुका। The eightfold yoga mysticism. कौन सा eightfold yoga mysticism है? What
जो
is
यहाँ लिख
mysticism?
यमन यम
Yes, Ashtanga yoga. Eightfold. Asht is 8.
अष्ट.
Okay? Ashtanga yoga means eightfold mysticism. Is automatically practiced Krishna consciousness. Can you believe it? You're getting the same results as that yogi who is able to stop breathing, half closed eyes. You get the same results just by celebrating Ram Navami and Janmashtami and Gaur Purnima, और खा रहे हैं और पी रहे हैं, प्रसादम खा पी रहे हैं, डांस कर रहे हैं, कीर्तन कर रहे हैं, मतलब activities so much more easier and so much more doable and enjoyable, but result is the same as this Ashtanga yogi. So the eightfold yoga mysticism is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. क्यों it is the same as Ashtanga yoga? क्योंकि दोनों का end result same है. Vasudevam iti manyate. There is a gradual process of elevation in the process of yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan and samadhi. इसमें gradually आप step by step elevate होते हो, शुद्ध होते हो. But these only preface perfection by devotional service. लेकिन फिर भी ये second आते हैं to Krishna consciousness. They are at number 2, which alone can award peace to the human beings. It is the highest perfection of life. Can you appreciate the value of Krishna consciousness now? Can you appreciate the value of Bhagwad Gita as it is now? Can you please now distribute these books in every corner of the world, wherever you are in? We are all in different parts of the world. एक सिंगापुर में है, एक बैंगलोर में है, एक बॉम्बे में है. हम अलग अलग जगहों पे हैं. अपनी अपनी जगह में can we please distribute Bhagavad Gita as it is? It is the only solution for world peace. Forget Shantim Richati. Attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Sahridam Sarvabhutanam. Sahridam means the well-wisher, the benefactor, Sarvabhutanam, of everyone without partiality. Gyatva Mam, who knows me, I, Krishna. Shantim Richard, who knows Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Anybody who comes to this conclusion that Vasudev is everything, he is the sum total of everything, he will attain world peace. He will attain his own peace, his personal peace, And then around him also there will be peace, because everybody will stop trying to become the owner once they understand कि owner कोई और है. And once everybody starts agreeing कि एक ही owner है, Vasudevam, automatically everybody is coming on the same platform. Everybody is cooperating with each other, because we are all now agreeing to come under the control of that one master Vasudeva. That's why they say Vasudeva Kutumbakam. It was a fact. It was a practical reality. The whole world was one Kutumb under Vasudeva. अमेरिका से लेके कंबोडिया तक, अंटार्कटिका से लेके आर्कटिक से लेके अंटार्कटिका तक, ईस्ट वेस्ट, everywhere was just Vedic dharma. Only Vasudeva or Vishnu was worshipped, and the world was united. So automatically there was world peace. You know? So this is the highest perfection of life, and then this alone can bring your own peace. आपकी peace से ही world की peace आएगी. Isn't it? And this ends our chapter 5. Chapter 6 पे हम जल्दी से कर देंगे, so that we can catch up now with chapter 7 and come at par with Nitai Prabhu's class. है ना? So any thoughts? Anybody wants to share anything? Any questions? Sorry, let me ask that. Yeah, in chapter 5. Any questions? Let me show you the PPT. दिख रहा है सबको?
Yes.
Yes.
So, by fixed meditation on the super soul, one soon attains liberation in the near future. How? How? By meditation on the super soul. Here, this is the soul sitting, and he is meditating on the super soul. One is assured of liberation. How? By being free from anger and from all material. ये दो चीजें हैं जो हमें इस वर्ल्ड से निकलने नहीं देंगी. जब तक हमारे अंदर एंगर है और जब तक हमारे अंदर मटेरियल डिजायर्स हैं, we will keep on taking births. By being self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, then we are assured of liberation. And a Krishna conscious person is the best of all liberated beings. Salvationist matlab all liberated beings. Why? Because बहुत effectively अपने senses को control कर पाता है. By focusing on the lotus feet of the Lord, which uproots all the deep grown desires. So एक तो ये तरीका है अपने desire को control करने का. Force yourself. नहीं, I don't want this. I don't. जबकि अंदर से चाहिए. So this is a very difficult process. This is Ashtanga Yoga. Krishna does not recommend this. Look at this process. You get to do all the activities. खाने यहाँ इसको अगर खाने का मन है, तो he is artificially trying to subdue his desire to eat. लेकिन भक्ति योगी क्या करता है? बढ़िया खाने पकाता है, लेकिन पहले कृष्ण को ऑफर कर देता है, खुद खा लेता है. तो डिजायर को उसको दबाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी, लेकिन प्योरीफाई कर लिया उस डिजायर को. सो खा भी रहे हैं, डांस भी कर रहे हैं, मिल भी रहे हैं, गा भी रहे हैं, फैमिली लाइफ भी एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, फिर भी इस योगी से आगे पहुंच रहे हैं. Why? Because Krishna, they have made Krishna the center of their lives. और सब कुछ ये सारी एक्टिविटीज की जा रही हैं first for the pleasure of Krishna. And they reach Brahma Nirvana. What is the Brahma Nirvana? A stage of the absence of material miseries. They stop feeling the miseries and the problems of this world. Why? Because they are constantly immersed in Krishna. And this is such a beautiful example. You should click a picture of this. You know, See, the tortoise brings up its babies just by meditation. Only meditation. Fish brings up its babies just by looking at them. है ना? वो देखकर बस उन्हें बताती है यहाँ जाओ ऐसे करो ऐसे करो. और बर्ड्स जो हैं वो कैसे बच्चों को रेज करते हैं? बाय टचिंग देम. उनके मुंह में खाना डालेंगे. उसी तरह जो एक भक्त है, although he is very far away from Golok, from Vaikuntha, but he can elevate himself to that abode just by thinking. श्रवणम को छोटी चीज मत समझो. Just by Shravanam, Kirtanam, thinking, by engagement in Krishna consciousness, also he will come directly under the maintenance of Krishna, under the care and protection of Krishna. So people generally think that spirituality to be inaction, कि कुछ नहीं करना, एक जगह बैठ जाना है बस. Sitting somewhere in a forest to be more spiritual than working in Karma Yoga. But Krishna makes the point that there is no difference between Karma Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. So ये जो yogis हैं, जो हजारों साल तपस्या कर रहे हैं, एक टांग पे खड़े हैं, ये श्रृंगी ऋषि है, पानी के अंदर अपने आप को डुबाया हुआ है, हजारों साल से सांस नहीं लिया, पानी के अंदर डुबाया हुआ है अपने आप को. कोई बर्फ में अपने आप को तपा रहा है, ठंड में बिना कपड़े के तपस्या कर रहा है, कोई आग में अपने आप को बिठाकर तपस्या कर रहा है. एट बेस्ट ये अपने परमात्मा तक पहुंच पाएंगे. लेकिन जो योगी है वो इनमें से कुछ भी अपनी बॉडी को बिल्कुल टॉर्चर नहीं करता, इनमें से कोई भी काम नहीं करता. वो केवल कृष्ण को सेंटर में रख के अपनी सारी एक्टिविटीज ऑफ ईटिंग, स्लीपिंग, मेटिंग एंड डिफेंडिंग करता है. वही एक्टिविटीज कर रहा है, ईटिंग, स्लीपिंग, लेकिन कृष्ण कॉन्शियस वे में. उसको भगवान मिल जाएंगे, इनको फिर भी नहीं मिलेंगे. So Ashtanga Yoga के 8 steps we have seen: Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. And how do you perform it? By shutting out all external sense objects, keeping your eyes and vision concentrated between the 2 eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils and controlling the mind, senses and intelligence. इससे वो liberation चाहते हैं. How it helps? You become free from fear, desire and anger. भय चला जाता है, anger चला जाता है and desires चले जाते हैं. Control the senses, mind and intelligence. And you feel the presence of the super soul. परमात्मा की feeling, आभास होता है. लेकिन भगवान तक नहीं पहुंचे अभी, परमात्मा तक पहुंचे, super soul realization तक पहुंचे, not भगवान realization. Krishna consciousness is the easiest form because he's always engaged in devotional service. He does not risk losing his senses to some other engagement. So it's a better way of controlling the sense. वो अपनी सारी senses को engage ही कर देता है कृष्ण की सेवा में, कहीं भटके ही नहीं. खाने की इंद्री को, पहनने की इंद्री को, सूंघने की इंद्री को, है ना, enjoy करने की, हर इंद्री को वो कृष्ण की सेवा में engage कर देता है ताकि वो इंद्री भटके ही नहीं, एक जगह पे केंद्रित रहे. So what are the realizations in Krishna consciousness? One can immediately understand your spiritual position. Immediately you will get realization of your spiritual position. आप गोलोक में आप कौन थे यहाँ आने से पहले? You will be able to understand that. One can understand the Supreme Lord by devotional service, and one is qualified to feel the presence of the Lord everywhere. This is a detailed slide of Ashtanga Yoga. This is the Patanjali Yoga system. Hatha Yoga. ये हठ योगा है, यम, नियम, आसन, प्राणायाम, और फिर ये संयम योगा है, प्रत्याहार, धारणा, ध्यान एंड समाधि.
अभी screen sharing is not on, na?
It's on. You can't see it?
No, we can see.
We can see it.
We can see.
Anjali?
मेरे में कहाँ गया? I mean, I'm able to see you all.
Maybe you
can
have
see
to
that.
move it. Yeah, maybe move. If you push us away, right, you'll be able to see it.
Okay. Got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Oh, so all this while you could not see any of the slides?
नहीं, शुरू में I could, then बीच में अभी when you were talking ना तब नहीं, अभी
You
फिर
could not see this slide. ये slide नहीं दिखी आप.
हाँ.
इसकी आप पिक्चर ले लो, बाद में इसको आराम से देखते रहना।
हाँ, इसकी ले ली। हाँ,
ले ली पिक्चर? दिस इज जस्ट एन ओवरव्यू ऑफ अष्टांग योगा। कितने अच्छे से बताया।
यस।
So, ये सारे रिस्ट्रेंट्स करने पड़ते हैं, यम नियम। एक यम को ही समझ लो, यम मतलब नॉन हंटिंग, नॉन लाइंग, नॉन स्टीलिंग, ब्रह्मचार्य, सेलिबेसी, अपरिग्रह, नो पोजेसिवनेस, नथिंग बिलोंग्स टू मी। पहले तो ये यम, ये प्रैक्टिस करना है। फिर नियम क्या है? शौचम, संतोष, तपस्या, स्वाध्याय एंड ईश्वर प्रणिधान, सरेंडर। तो पहले तो यम और नियम ही इतने मुश्किल हैं, उसके बाद आसन तक पहुंचोगे। आसन में ये सारे डिफिकल्ट पोस्चर्स करने हैं। उसके बाद प्राणायाम करना है, कंट्रोलिंग योर ब्रीदिंग, प्राण, अपान, समान, उड़ान, बयान, वेरी डिफिकल्ट प्रोसेसेस ऑफ एयर कंट्रोल इन द बॉडी। देन प्रत्याहार, प्रत्याहार मतलब अपने सारे सेंसेस को विड्रॉ कर लिया, ब्रीदिंग को रोक लिया। फिर धारणा, कॉन्सेंट्रेट, एक जगह पे केंद्र, आईब्रोज के बीच में सारा ध्यान, धारणा केंद्रित किया, फिर ध्यान, मेडिटेशन, और फाइनली समाधि, स्पिरिचुअल एब्जॉर्प्शन। इसमें भी आप ब्रह्म ज्योति पे जाओगे इतना सब करने के बाद, कृष्णा तक नहीं जाओगे। And finally, verse 29, the highest perfection of life. Only devotional service can award peace. This is the peace formula. Chapter 5, last verse 29 is the world peace formula. It gives the practical application of Krishna consciousness, this verse, and explains how Karma Yoga can give you liberation. Karma Yoga is action in full knowledge. So, Krishna consciousness मतलब directly Bhakti Yoga. और ज्ञान योगा मतलब it is taking you towards Bhakti Yoga. एक step नीचे है. Possession of a living entity. What is the possession of a living entity? That it is a pure soul and an eternal servant of Krishna as a fragmental part and parcel. And he realizes that the cause of his suffering is contact with Maya. माया के संपर्क में आकर उसकी सारी मुसीबतें शुरू हो गई. Because he started feeling that he owns it. He started behaving like the owner. So Krishna consciousness process gives spiritual experience in the material world. Wow. Material world में रहते हुए भी आपको एक spiritual experience देता है. How? One has to execute work in terms of material necessities as long as one is in contact with matter. Lekin Krishna consciousness brings you into a spiritual life, even while we are in this world. Because the Lord is not partial and he reciprocates according to our approach. So everything depends on our practical performance of duties in Krishna. जितना हम अपना Krishna consciousness activities को बढ़ाएंगे, उतना आपको मेवा मिलेगा. उतनी आपकी सेंसेस कंट्रोल होंगी, उतना आपका एंगर कंट्रोल होगा, उतनी आपकी डिजायर कंट्रोल होगी. And steadfastness in Krishna consciousness and controlling the above mentioned passions, then one reaches Brahma Nirvana. So automatically Ashtanga Yoga practice ho hi jata. This is the highest perfection of life. And this, iski bhi aap picture le lo, this is just a summary. क्योंकि इस चैप्टर में from 5.17 से लेके 5.26 तक वो सारे क्वालिटीज बताई हैं ऑफ अ लिबरेटेड कर्मयोगी. क्या क्या क्वालिटीज होती हैं उसमें? He has equal vision for all living entities, regardless of their caste or their body. He has no attraction to matter. So he is flawless and he is impartial. ये भगवान की बात नहीं हो रही है, liberated योगी की बात हो रही है. His intelligence is fixed in the self and he knows the science of God. I mean, he knows perfectly about the 3 levels of God consciousness: absolute truth, constitutional position of the living entity, And this is the Brahman realization. ना उसे खुशी होती है ना दुख होती है. If he gains something, he is not happy. If he loses something, he is not sad. And he is never attracted to sense gratification. Why? Because he understands that as soon as his indriya, his senses, come with the sense objects, then misery is going to be just misery. And he understands that sense pleasure is temporary and limited. So usme indulge hi nahi karta. So he experiences great happiness inside, which means he has developed a higher taste. उसको सोल का टेस्ट का चस्का लग गया है, तो बाहर की सभी एक्टिविटीज का becomes very very distasteful to him. ये उसकी क्वालिटीज है. 1 2 3 4 5, and then he tolerates. Tolerance comes automatically. He tolerates the forces of desire, anger, and urges of the senses till death. How does he tolerate? By focusing his happiness and activities and goals towards the higher taste. His focus is to go to Golok. His activities and his goals are to get out of this world. And purifying his external activities by working for the benefit of others, by preaching Krishna consciousness to everyone, he is able to tolerate the forces of anger and desire. Because वो सबसे बड़े charity work में लग गया है. He's working for the benefit of others. And then fixed meditation on the super soul, he soon attains liberation in the near future. You are sure to get liberation if you follow this. So this is the vision of a self-realized soul, these 5 verses, and the remaining 4 verses explains the behavior. These are the behavior of a self-realized soul. Very nicely captured. Okay? कैसा लगा? Any questions? Any objections? Bhakti Yoga. Do you still want to try other methods? YG?
A little bit of all 3. I know Bhakti Yoga is the easiest, but thoda, maybe Ashtanga Yoga, maybe, I don't know, I'm just thinking a little bit of all these 3, would that help? I know the answer is no. Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and, Bhakti Yoga. Because I don't know, it is like just one alone, although it seems, easiest, it's like, it's working on the mind, right? Which is what makes it difficult. So I don't know, a little bit of yoga, trying to control the body, Ashtanga Yoga, and a little bit of Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga.
Are you, Dhyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga is the same.
Okay.
I'm only talking about 2, Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga contains Ashtanga Yoga. Automatically Ashtanga Yoga comes in Bhakti. I think you're talking about the physical asanas and pranayama.
No, but that also, right? If you look at Ashtanga Yoga, it also talks about controlling the body. Right?
So, exercising your body is, it is not discouraging you from exercise. Exercise to karni hai. It's very important. All devotees do yoga. That's not the point that we were discussing here. Of course, you have to exercise and keep your body fit. For that, by all means, please do yoga and pranayama. We are saying that
Ashtanga Yoga.
to attain liberation, just doing yoga without Vasudevam is not going to.
See, then, this process is easy. One question that I have is, why is it that, Ashtanga Yoga was practiced in the past?
Because
why is it that?
Because the yug in the past meaning another yug altogether.
Okay.
The mental caliber of the people was much advanced. Can't compare it to the mental caliber of Kali Yuga people.
So was it okay to practice Ashtanga Yoga in that yuga?
Yes.
And now it is discouraged. Okay. Not discouraged, at least the easier path or the easiest path is
It
Bhakti
is a
Yoga.
doctor's prescription. Doctor knows best, right? So
Mm.
in Satyuga, the doctors had prescribed, spiritual doctors had prescribed meditation. That's Ashtanga Yoga. Because the lifespan was 1 lakh years, 1 lakh
Right.
years, out of which 60,000 years were used in meditation.
Meditation. Okay. Mm.
And many people went back, got liberated. Kuch reh gaye. They came to the next Yuga, Treta Yuga. Now, of course, degradation started. So they're not as advanced. In Treta Yuga, lifespan has reduced 10,000 years. From 1 lakh to 10,000 years. From 100,000 to 10,000 years. So again, now the prescription will change.
Okay.
Degradation has happened. So now what did the spiritual doctors prescribe? For Treta Yuga, the medicine is
Sacrifice. Sacrifices. Was it sacrifices? Yajna?
Yagya.
Okay.
Yagya. So Rajasuya Yagya, Ashwamedh Yagya, all these Yagyas were done. That's why Rama also did Rajasuya Yagya. He was in Treta Yuga.
Okay. Mm.
So that was the Yug Dharam. Everybody had to.
Okay.
Now that Yug passed, many got liberated by practicing this. Some still remained back. But the Yug changed. Furthermore, degradation happened. Deterioration furthermore happened. So now the age is reduced even more. 100,000 to 10,000. Now 1,000 years. Only 1,000. Dwapar. So in Dwapar, no more the mental capacity is there. Arjun is saying, Arjun was Dwapar. He said, sorry, I can't control the mind. Now nor can I train it or fix it on anything. I can't do it, Krishna. He rejects this. He rejects it to Krishna. He says, so what has been recommended? Deity worship. Something physical to do. So okay. Lots of temples were constructed in Dwapar Yuga. The whole planet Earth, wherever you go, you will see temples. Because everybody was asked or recommended to engage all their senses in Devasthanam Puja. Because you engage all the whole body, mind, eyes, ears, nose, all your senses are engaged in Archa Vigraha Seva. And that Seva purifies your senses. That Seva purifies your anger, your desires. And you are able to then control your desires, withdraw your desires from this world, and you get liberated. Just by that process of deity worship. Archa Vigraha Seva. So again, जो बच गए थे सतयुग में और त्रेता युग में, वो द्वापर में चले गए. उसके बाद the most stubborn मतलब 3 chances हमने गवा दिए हैं. इतनी सारी डिस्क्रिप्शंस के बावजूद हम जैसे अभी भी बच गए हैं. So 1,000 years reduced to 100. And we are so unfortunate, 100 भी नहीं है. 100 भी नहीं है. So जिसकी इतनी कम आयु होगी, क्या तो वो डेटी वर्शिप करेगा, क्या वो मेडिटेशन करेगा, क्या वो यज्ञ करेगा. प्योरिटी नहीं है प्रोडक्ट्स की. You don't even know the ghee that you're using is ghee or not. What Rajasuya yajna will you do? Hence, it is recommended Harer Naam, Harer Naam Aika Kevalam Kalau Naste, Naste, Naste Gatiramati. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other. You still want to waste your time by reinventing the wheel? Be our guest. You will continue to rot. Again, more and more births. अभी तो घोर कलयुग आया नहीं है. कलयुग is 4,32,000 years long. Only 5,000 years have passed, and already we are finding it unbearable. So what's going to happen in the remaining 4,28,000 years? And we are going to take rebirth in that period only. If we don't go back in this life, we are coming back on planet Earth in that horrible Kali Yuga. where there will be nothing to eat, nothing to drink, so much of physical violence, atrocities. And still, if we say chanting is hard, I can't do it. I love my tea. I just love my coffee. What can be said? Prabhupada used to say, after all this information, if you still don't want to do it, what can be said? Who can save you then? Nobody can save you. That's why these messages have to be heard again and again and again and again and again, because we are so stubborn and so dull-headed and so attached that we have to hear it again and again and again. Hence, it is recommended hear daily, read daily, daily. Now you get it?
Yep. Yeah, actually, on a comparative basis, chanting is definitely easier.
Easiest.
So,
easy. And they made it so impartial. A child can do it. A mentally retarded person can do it. Person in coma can do it. Cockroach can do it. Everybody can get liberated. Everybody. This planet Earth can become khali. Yamraj will go out of job. कोई बचेगा ही नहीं. सब जा सकते हैं वापस. Cockroaches भी. पागल मेंटली रिटार्डेड लोग भी, क्योंकि सुनते सब हैं. मुन्ना भाई एमबीबीएस देखी थी? ये सब्जेक्ट बोले तो कोई सब्जेक्ट इसलिए बोलते हैं इसको क्योंकि इसको कुछ सुनता नहीं है. एंड दे प्रूव्ड इन द एंड कि सुनता है. कोमेटोस आदमी को भी सब कुछ सुनता है. वो रिएक्ट नहीं कर पाता, उसको सुन, ये चलता है, सबका चलता है. और इसमें अगर हरि नाम आप डाल रहे हो, डिवोटीज आर डूइंग इट. They are going to the ICUs and chanting Hare Krishna. They are going to patients' wards who are about to give up their lives and chanting Hare Krishna. People call them idiots, sentimentalists, brainless people, dull-headed. But they are the most intelligent people because they've understood the science of the world, the science of the soul. They know कि अगर इनके कान में चला गया, they are liberated. Hence, chant loudly so that you can hear. All the microbes in your room can hear. Anybody in your room, a family member can hear. And they will get permanent benefit. This benefit will not become 0 after death. It will be carried forward. Preaching is very important. Each one of us has to distribute Bhagwad Gita. All this precious knowledge is inside here. Whoever reads this gets it. Bhagwad Gita as it is. Please distribute. Your house, spend on Bhagwad Gita as it is. Don't spend, we spend so much on so many other things. We should stock our house with this and give it to everyone as a gift on every opportunity, along with the other gifts. ठीक है, सब बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करेंगे. We should start book distribution plans from now itself for our December book distribution. We should all distribute books. It's the only way to give our children a peaceful future. If enough people are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, we will have enough wiser people in the world. Okay? All right. Anu, you can repeat after me. Ekam Shastram.
Oh, I was on mute.
Ekam
Ekam Shastram,
Devaki Putra Geetam.
Devaki Putra Geetam,
Eko Devo.
Eko Devo,
Devaki Putra Eva.
Devaki Putra Eva,
Eko Mantras.
Eko Mantras,
Tasya Namani Yani.
Tasya Namani Yani.
कर्मापि एकं
कर्मापि एकं
तस्य देवस्य सेवा
तस्य देवस्य सेवा
त्वमेव माता च पिता
त्वमेव माताश्च पिता
त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव
त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा
त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं
त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं
त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव
त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
हरये परमात्मने
हरये परमात्मने
प्रणतकलेशनाशाय
प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
देवकी नन्दनाय च
देवकी नन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
वसुदेवं सुतं देवं
वसुदेवं सुतं देवं
कंसचाणूरमर्दनं
तं सचाणुरमर्दनं
देवकी परमानन्दं
देवकी परमानन्दं
कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं
कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं
कात्यायनी महामाये
कात्यायनी महामाये
महायोगिनी अधीश्वरी
महायोगिनी अधीश्वरी
नन्दगोपसुतं देवी
नन्दगोपं सुतं देवी
पतिं मे कुरुते नमः
पतिं मे कुरुते नमः
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम
श्रीकृष्णं शरणं मम
दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि
दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
हरे राम राम राम
राम राम
हरे
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 श्रीला प्रभुपाद की
जय
जय जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय
जय
Savior of the world की जय
जय
निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल
हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि
बोल।
So Ram Navami is coming. Everybody, please participate wholeheartedly in the service of Lord Ram to purify